Welcome to Lesson 17 of Story-Based English. In this lesson, a group of travelers visits a mysterious remote island where strange sounds echo through the trees. What will they find? By the end of this lesson, you will know 10 new vocabulary words, and you will master one of the trickiest areas of English, the difference between adjectives ending in ed and adjectives ending in ing. This is a topic that confuses even advanced learners, but after this lesson, you will never get it wrong again. Let's begin. Okay, here is our first sentence. Listen carefully. The travelers arrived at a remote island that was immediately intriguing. Its dense forests and ancient ruins seemed to hide a fascinating story. Let me read that one more time. The travelers arrived at a remote island that was immediately intriguing. Its dense forests and ancient ruins seemed to hide a fascinating story. All right, let's dive into this mysterious setting. First, the word remote. Remote means far away from cities and towns, isolated and difficult to reach. A remote island is one that is not easy to get to. A remote village is one far from everything. Remote also has a modern meaning. Remote work means working from a distant location, usually from home, but the core idea is always distance. Now, here is our first ing adjective, intriguing. Intriguing means something that is fascinating and makes you curious. Notice, intriguing describes the island. The island is capable of creating curiosity in people. And here is the crucial grammar point. Adjectives ending in ing describe the thing that causes the feeling. The island is intriguing. It creates intrigue in you. The story is fascinating. It creates fascination in the listener. Think of ing adjectives as the source of the emotion. The movie is boring. The movie causes boredom. The news is shocking. The news causes shock. The book is interesting. The book creates interest. The ing adjective is always about the cause, the thing that produces the feeling, not the person who feels it. Here is a simple test. Can you say, "It makes me feel"? If yes, the thing is the cause, so use ing. The island makes me feel curious. The island is intriguing. The test matches perfectly. The island is intriguing, but how do the travelers feel? Let's find out. Here is sentence 2. Listen. As night fell, the unsettling sounds of the forest overwhelmed the group. They were completely overwhelmed by the strange echoing whispers. One more time. As night fell, the unsettling sounds of the forest overwhelmed the group. They were completely overwhelmed by the strange echoing whispers. Now the atmosphere changes. First, the word unsettling. Unsettling means causing a feeling of unease, worry, or discomfort. If something is unsettling, it makes you feel not quite right, not terrified, but uneasy. Notice, unsettling ends in ing. It describes the sounds. The sounds are the cause of the uneasy feeling. The sounds are unsettling the travelers. Now the word overwhelmed. Overwhelmed means feeling completely overpowered by an emotion, situation, or quantity. When you are overwhelmed, you cannot cope. The feeling is too strong. And here is the key contrast. Look at this sentence. The sounds are unsettling, ing, the cause. The travelers are overwhelmed, ed, the experiencers. The ed adjective describes the person who experiences the feeling. They were overwhelmed, not they were overwhelming. Overwhelming would mean they cause overwhelm in others. So the complete picture is, ing is the cause, ed is the experiencer. The movie is boring, the audience is bored. The news is shocking, the people are shocked. The sounds are unsettling, the travelers are unsettled. Here is your test for ed. Can you say, I feel? If yes, use ed. I feel bored. I feel shocked. I feel overwhelmed. These are all about how someone feels, the experience. 2 simple tests. It makes me feel, use ing for the thing. I feel, use ed for the person. The travelers are overwhelmed, but the night is just beginning. Here is sentence 3. The bewildering maze of paths through the ruins left even the most experienced guide astonished. Nothing in his training had prepared him for this. Let me read that again. The bewildering maze of paths through the ruins left even the most experienced guide astonished. Nothing in his training had prepared him for this. Two more beautiful examples. First, the word bewildering. Bewildering means extremely confusing and disorienting. If something is bewildering, it is so complex or surprising that you cannot understand it. Bewildering ends in ing. The maze is the cause of the confusion. The maze bewilders people. It creates bewilderment. Now, the word astonished. Astonished means extremely surprised, almost shocked. If you are astonished, something has surprised you so much that you can hardly believe it. Astonished ends in ed. The guide is the experiencer. He feels astonishment. Can you see the pattern perfectly in the sentence? The bewildering maze, ing, the cause. The astonished guide, ed, the experiencer. The maze causes bewilderment. The guide experiences it. The two words sit in perfect contrast. One is the source, the other is the receiver. This is the system working at its best. When you see an ing adjective, ask what is causing the feeling. When you see an ed adjective, ask who is experiencing the feeling. The answers will always match. Quick recap. Ing adjectives describe the cause, the thing creating the feeling. Ed adjectives describe the experiencer, the person feeling it. Unsettling sounds, overwhelmed travelers. Bewildering maze, astonished guide. The cause creates the feeling. The person experiences it. But what about common mistakes? Let's look at those next. Here is sentence 4. One traveler found a captivating mural on a cave wall. While the others argued about what it meant, she stood silently, completely captivated by its beauty. One more time. One traveler found a captivating mural on a cave wall. While the others argued about what it meant, she stood silently, completely captivated by its beauty. This sentence is a perfect teaching moment. The word captivating. Captivating means holding your attention completely, enchanting, impossible to look away from. A captivating performance, a captivating smile, a captivating story. And the same root word appears twice. The mural is captivating, ing, it causes captivation. She was captivated, ed, she experiences captivation. Same root, different ending, completely different role. Well, let's talk about the common mistakes people make. The biggest error is using ing when you mean ed, especially with these pairs, confused and confusing, bored and boring, interested and interesting, excited and exciting. I am boring means I cause boredom in other people. I am a boring person. But learners often say this when they mean I am bored. I feel boredom. Big difference. The lesson is interested. This is wrong. Lessons cannot feel interest. The lesson is interesting. It causes interest. You are interested in the lesson. Here is a tip. Things, situations, and events are almost always ing. People are almost always ed. There are rare exceptions. He is a very interesting person is correct because the person causes interest in others. But as a general rule, things cause, people experience. The travelers are deep in the mystery. Let's see how the night ends. Here is sentence 5. By dawn, the exhausted travelers had survived an exhilarating night. They were terrified and thrilled in equal measure. Let me read that again. By dawn, the exhausted travelers had survived an exhilarating night. They were terrified and thrilled in equal measure. This sentence is packed with ed and ing adjectives. First, the word exhausted. Exhausted means extremely tired, completely drained of energy. If you are exhausted, you have used up all your physical or mental energy. Exhausted is ed. The travelers feel exhaustion. They are the experiencers. Now the word exhilarating. Exhilarating means making you feel very excited and happy, full of energy and thrill. An exhilarating experience is one that fills you with excitement. Exhilarating is ing. The night was the cause. The night created the feeling of exhilaration. And look at the second part, terrified and thrilled in equal measure. Both ed. Both about the travelers, the experiencers. They feel terror, they feel thrill. Count all the adjectives in this short sentence. Exhausted, exhilarating, terrified, thrilled. 3 are ed. 1 is ing. 3 describe how the travelers feel. 1 describes what the night was like. The system works perfectly every time. When you talk about what something is like, use ing. When you talk about how someone feels, use ed. Let's read the final sentence and see the lasting effect of this island. Here is our final sentence. Listen carefully. They left the island enchanted, forever changed. The experience was the most transforming event of their lives, and each of them returned home as a more enlightened person. One last time. They left the island enchanted, forever changed. The experience was the most transforming event of their lives, and each of them returned home as a more enlightened person. What a beautiful ending. The word enchanted. Enchanted means filled with delight and wonder, as if under a magical spell. If you are enchanted by something, it has cast a spell on you. You are completely charmed. Enchanted is ed. The travelers are the experiencers. They feel enchantment. Now, the complete advanced pattern. Look at this sentence carefully. Enchanted, ed, the travelers experience enchantment. The most transforming event. Ing, the event causes transformation. A more enlightened person. Ed, the person experiences enlightenment. But wait, enlightened person is interesting. Here, ed does not describe a temporary feeling. It describes a lasting quality. An enlightened person is someone who has been enlightened. The transformation is complete and permanent. This is the advanced nuance. Some ed adjectives describe temporary feelings, bored, tired, excited. Others describe lasting states, educated, experienced, enlightened, devoted. And transforming is used instead of transformative here to maintain the ing-ed pattern we are learning. Both are acceptable, but transforming makes the cause-experiencer relationship clear. Let me give you the master summary. Ing adjectives describe what something is like, the cause of the feeling. Ed adjectives describe how someone feels, the experiencer. Some ed adjectives describe permanent qualities, not just temporary feelings. Master these patterns, and you will eliminate one of the most common errors in English. All right, now that we have broken everything down, let's listen to the entire story one more time, from beginning to end. Just listen and follow along. The travelers arrived at a remote island that was immediately intriguing. Its dense forests and ancient ruins seemed to hide a fascinating story. As night fell, the unsettling sounds of the forest overwhelmed the group. They were completely overwhelmed by the strange, echoing whispers. The bewildering maze of paths through the ruins left even the most experienced guide astonished. Nothing in his training had prepared him for this. One traveler found a captivating mural on a cave wall. While the others argued about what it meant, she stood silently, completely captivated by its beauty. By dawn, the exhausted travelers had survived an exhilarating night. They were terrified and thrilled in equal measure. They left the island enchanted, forever changed. The experience was the most transforming event of their lives, and each of them returned home as a more enlightened person. The island whispered its secrets, and the travelers were forever changed. And that is a wrap. Let's look at everything you learned. Vocabulary. You learned 10 adjectives that are actually ed and ing pairs. Remote, intriguing, unsettling, overwhelmed, bewildering, astonished, captivating, exhausted, exhilarating, and enchanted. Grammar. You mastered the ed versus ing system. Ing for the cause, ed for the experiencer. Common errors to avoid, and the advanced insight that some ed adjectives describe permanent qualities. This is one of the most useful grammar topics in the entire course. Get it right, and your English will sound significantly more natural. Head over to the quiz section to test yourself and try the role play. Describe a movie you watched using both ed and ing adjectives correctly. See you in the next lesson.